Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. I'm your host, Papa Joe, and I really do appreciate every one of you guys and gals being here today. Today, we are going to be checking out a few different things around what's going on with Bitcoin price. It's very interesting that it's running up. A lot of people are sitting there going, wait, is this the run? Is this the run? Is this the run? I'm going to throw my opinion out there for everybody. Some of you have asked me directly, so I will put it out for everyone here. We're also going to take a look at some interesting pieces coming around debt default in the United States, deflation in the United States, and then some interesting tidbits around CBDCs. They are coming, unfortunately, whether we like them or not. Excuse me. And yeah, we're going to take a look at some stuff. So, listen, thanks for being part of the show. If you're new to the show, do me a favor and click the subscribe. It does mean a lot to me when you do that. Also, if you are watching live, grab the bell. Excuse me. Smash those likes if you like the content from the end of the show. If you are new, subscribe, give us a bell, tick, and all that fun stuff too. So, anyways, we're going to look at some other things around Bitcoin's pricing today. Y'all, I think will really enjoy it. So, we will see what happens there. So, sorry I'm late starting today, everyone. Had some stuff I needed to take care of right before this, and it just spilled over into setting this up. So, we started late. Better late than never. Those of you who are joining, I appreciate it very much. So, sorry we are not right on time as we usually are. So, but anyhow, let's jump into the content, shall we? FOMO stirs again in Bitcoin's best start since before the hunger disease, disgusting thing that happened to everybody. So Bitcoin is bolted out of January's starting gate with a climb of more than 21 or 26%, turning up the heat on the bears who anticipated more challenges for riskier investments after sharp sell-offs in 2022. Now, what's interesting about this is that people need to start realizing that there are puzzle pieces going into place. Remember back when we talked about last year how BlackRock is working with Coinbase to set up the plumbing so that they can start trading and buying into crypto? Well, in the overall market cap, when it ran up, bumped above $1 trillion. So we are now just below that again. So there has been a slight little pullback. People taking profits, stuff like that. You've been waiting around. So a lot of people bought in at $20,000 range in anticipation for it to run up. Well, we're sitting just under $1 trillion again on that. Very interesting information there, in my opinion. Something to pay attention to. The token's advance so far is the best for the opening month of the year since a 31% rally in 2020 before the pandemic hit. The surge has helped to lift the overall value of digital assets past the $1 trillion mark, right? We just discussed that. I didn't even know that was there. Sorry. A level that gave away in November when the good old FTX imploded. Yeah, well, that was, I think, on purpose. And I actually kind of wonder if Gemini's next. Just wondering, right? Hang on, I'll tell you why. Purely speculation. Just Papa Joe doing his thing, connecting the dots. Okay, that is where I am really good at doing things. So, Genesis went into bankruptcy. Genesis had we'll call it a portfolio or a product that they offered to their customers that Gemini also utilized as well. Well, as part of that, Genesis has 900 something million dollars of Genesis money, or I'm sorry, Gemini's money. Well, here's the deal. Genesis also had users' funds on deposit. Well, part of that in their terms of use, and y'all need to read the terms of use for all these exchanges. In the case of bankruptcy, I'm pretty sure this is the same for FTX. If there's money on deposit, no matter what it is, in the case of bankruptcy, you become an unsecured creditor if you have funds there to the exchange. And that ends up being their money. A court ruled that according to the terms of use, the users of that platform of Genesis do not have access to their funds. They now belong to Genesis, and will be part of the whole bankruptcy, whatever. Okay. All of that, I have got to say, I'm really sorry to say this, but putting it out there for everybody, I've been trying to tell you, self-custody. Hold your own crypto. Told you to look into the Divi wallet. It's one of the best platforms I have seen everywhere. And really think you need to pay attention to them. Just something to say. Anyways, it's 100% self-custody. What's really, really cool is they have a fiat on-off ramp that they will be enabling here really soon. It was enabled, the banking facilities. It's interesting. Banks don't like crypto very much. But anyways, the banking facilities behind Divi now are being turned on, or will be turned on here soon. And they are in the process of getting that all enabled right now. So they have Virtual SaaS, NFT 2.0, which has got a lot can be done with that. A lot. And a lot. Loyalty, interoperability, all that fun stuff, right? So we really need to pay attention to these guys. Tell you all the time, self-custody. Don't leave it in the bank. Anyways, this is my 2 cents that Gemini may be the next big exchange to have a problem. It's just my 2 cents. $900 million isn't something to joke or scoff at. You know, it's something that they probably needed, wanted back, had to have back to repay their clients. So we'll see what happens with Gemini. I don't know. They might be the next one to go. They're the only other one that I have seen that's been in the news, if you will, having problems. Also, something to kind of pay attention to. Go look at Silvergate. I covered them a couple times. Silvergate is one you might want to, keep an eye on as well. There are a bank, an actual clearinghouse type of bank that does regular fiat transactions, but they also do crypto transactions and or crypto custodianship as well. So y'all will need to go and do some research on those. That is interesting connections to most of the crypto exchanges. All right. So just throwing it out there, connect those dots if you want to. I'm telling you guys, something isn't right there. And the reason I'm saying all of this stuff right now is that we have had a nice run up in Bitcoin. This is the day chart. This is the type of candles you want to see whenever you're going to start really kind of climbing. This is fine. This is great. Love it. We will see what happens though. There is definitely pressure there and all this fun stuff, and I'm fantastic. It's great to see this stuff, and I really, 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 excuse me, I'm excited to see it. Y'all, please be careful and realize that it could come back down. Okay. Mount Gox is still running its stuff, and it's been delayed as well. I wonder if Gemini may be the next. I'm not even sharing my screen. I'm wondering if Gemini is not has some problems now. So we'll see what happens with that. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin is actually running really well. If you don't follow Plan B on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should be following me on Twitter. But if you don't follow Plan B on Twitter, you really need to be following him as well. So the relative strength index, or the RSI, Bitcoin's getting stronger. Okay. Really, really, really every time. So you got the dates down here. So 2011 it came back down to 2012. 2013 started running again. 2012 started running again. You guys see the ups and downs, right? Let's see what happens, okay? Let's see where we go, right? Anyway, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink weighs in on recession probability, U.S. debt default, right? This is going to be very fun as we come into here. U.S. debt default? Really? The U.S. is going to default on its debt? U.S. economy is built on debt. The housing market's built on debt. The housing market has the entire economy built on it. Telling you all this for years now. Pretty cool stuff, but for years it's been running. The debt defaulting. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said there is a high probability of a mild recession. Are we already in a recession? Have you seen gas prices? milk prices, egg prices, clothing prices. I can go on. Car prices, although car prices are about to fall off a cliff. Home prices are about to fall off a cliff. In other words, there is going to be a deflation that happens, and we'll get into that in a second. Businesses benefit from inflation. Homeowners benefit from inflation. But the true market value of those things that they do or sell or whatever are all tied to the dollar and inflating. Inflation happens a lot in our current system and it needs to go away. And I think it will. I don't know how long will last when it comes to this stuff, but we'll see what happens here shortly. BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink weighs in on the probability of recession and the risk of the U.S. government defaulting on its debt. Fink told Liz Clayman, I guess, and Charlie Gasparino. I can't pronounce y'all's names, and kind of I don't care. Anyways, during the Clayman countdown, I guess it's a show on Friday, that we're not in a recession, he says, yet, but there's a high probability we're going into one. Yep, we already are, buddy. Everyone's like, we're not, because all of the other sectors in our economy aren't down. Blah blah blah. It's like everything's built on the debt. You just watch it. It goes. Everything goes, and it's about to. It already kind of is. Anyways, he went on to note several phenomena observed as occurring in the economy. We're seeing the housing market rally. Really, excuse me. I'm not caffeinated enough. Y'all bear with me. I apologize. Anyways, we're seeing the housing market really, collapse from the peak levels that we saw last year. He said we're seeing auto sales starting to fall quite considerably, and we're starting to see actually more and more consumers borrowing against their retirement. That also isn't a good thing. I didn't realize that was happening. Everyone, credit card debt's up. I saw an article yesterday as well. People are turning to plastic because they don't have enough money to meet the needs of their families, and they're going into debt. So debt's starting to balloon across the board. As that happens, jobs start to get lost. Things around the globe don't quite add up with this, okay? Anyways, Fink explained consumers had huge pools of money. No, they didn't. They hadn't in a long time during the peak of the hunger disease. Adding, they were not commuting to work and received some federal payments. That, he said, was mostly diminished. In other words, they don't have money anymore in their banks. Their savings accounts are dwindling. They're starting to use credit cards a lot more. And now the federal payments and stuff, people instead of investing those or paying off debt or whatever with those payments, they went and bought stuff that they normally wouldn't buy because an extra money, blah blah blah. Great. Anyways, he says right now we're at this point. Well, we're not in a recession. We are, but he says we're not. Anyways, but if the pathway continues in this direction, I believe it will be. We're going into a mild recession. I think it's going to be a lot worse than that. Every time they say it's definitely 100 times worse. 100% worse. Anyways, he continued, absolutely, there's no reason for us to be in a very deep recession, except the problem is I don't think he's recognizing the greatness of the debt. There's too many things going on in our economy to be in a deep recession. I really disagree. People are starting to take out loans on their houses, refinance. They're starting to take out loans against their retirement so that they can meet ends meet. We are not going to see, this isn't going to be good. Later in the interview, BlackRock CEO offered his thoughts on whether there is a risk of the U.S. government defaulting on debt. Yep. Well, if we saw the lack of function within Congress, we or if we don't have Congress trying to find a way to move forward, of course we have that risk, he said. I would just argue every lawmaker to be focused on, or I would just urge, every lawmaker to be focused on the responsibility. We owe our creditors money. Well, who is the creditor of the United States? We have whom does the United States owe nearly $31 trillion? The banks. Let's see what they say though. I didn't see this come up earlier. The national debt could reach $31 trillion as soon as this month. Yeah. US is about 30.9 trillion dollars national debt according to the latest data from Treasury Department. That will reach record $31 trillion as early as later this month. Roughly $24.3 trillion of Americans' total public debt outstanding consists of debt held by the public. I don't have anywhere near that much. Do you? No. And 6.6 trillion is intergovernmental, whatever that means, holdings, according to the Monday data from the Treasury Department. In other words, you are the guarantor to the debt that they continue to do. Intergovernmental holdings include federal trust funds, revolving funds and special funds, as well as federal financing, bank securities, and Treasury Department said on its website. So apparently they say you held that debt. Let's go over here to US Debt Clock, usdebtclock.org, and let's go over here. National debt. Why do they think it's? Yeah, it's already at 31 trillion. How old is that? This article is September 15th. Wow. Well, this is an old one. Oh well. Yeah, we're already at $31 trillion. Let's see. Credit card debt is increasing. It was going down, but it's increasing now. Per household, $7,200. That's a pretty good bit per household. Personal debt per city is $72,000. That's pretty crazy. Student debt is rising as well. Okay. Bank interest received, total interest paid. Yeah. $40,000 per student. That's a pretty good bit, and that doesn't go away. Household assets, U.S. total national assets, assets per citizen this is not actual assets. This is what you might call it. Net worth type stuff. So that includes people's homes. All right. Oh, look, home sales. Interesting. I didn't know they had a tab for that. I'm going to go back and do some research on that. All right, over here we have dollar to gold ratio. Interesting. Now is 874. In 1913, it was $28.68. Let's see, paper to silver. That's something to pay attention to. It's 431.53 to 1 ounce of silver. That's stupid crazy. Let's see here. There was another one. All right, whatever. I'm gonna get off of that. All right. So Jeff Booth warns of a debt deflation if Federal Reserve keeps hiking interest rates. Jeff Booth warns of danger of continued Fed rate hikes. The author of The Price of Tomorrow, Jeff Booth, shared his thoughts in an Ask Me Anything or an AMA session on Stacker News last week. Among numerous questions asked was whether he believes the recent Federal Reserve interest rate increases will actually cause widespread deflation. Booth replied, if they keep hiking, it will eventually turn into debt deflation or credit wipeout. A la Great Depression on steroids. Yeah, that's coming probably. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Eventually, they will be forced to pivot. They will be. One important consideration for people to think in terms of a lag effect, i.e., 18 months from when actions are set in motion. He continued. Remember when on inflation, Treasury inflation, high inflation, Booth added cautioning. This tightening only really started in September, and Fed only reduced their balance sheet by 0.27% last year, with subsequent damage, if you continue, ugly. If they continue, it's going to be very, very ugly, basically is what he's saying. He says, continues down here below, we live in a world of abundance, bonded by a financial system built on scarcity. And while many don't realize it because they are still trapped in the system requiring scarcity, Bitcoin is the key that unlocks the abundance. Interesting perspective, if you ask me. It really is. Okay. When deflation happens, that means people aren't spending anymore for multiple reasons. They can't buy or won't buy the goods and services that they were before. They lose their jobs, God forbid. They have no money to actually spend. Then what? Right? It is, everyone is so much paycheck to paycheck right now. It's incredibly disgusting. I really hope we don't have to deal with this. You know what the answer is? You know what the answer is that they have for everyone? Here's the answer. They wanna get rid of all of the dollars and then roll out a CBDC. Yeah. This stupid publication, we'll put it that way, the game-changing development could have a profound impact on the banking system, but few people still understand it. Yeah, they're trying to make something like Bitcoin, force everyone to use it so they can get rid of the dollar, bye all the debt, and start over. Reset. Blink. Everybody has no debt. Well, but you have to get into debt and use debt in our new system to continue moving forward in life. That is the direction that they're going to end up going with this stuff, and that's disgusting. It's disgusting. Central bank digital currency doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but you might want to get used to saying it. These so-called CBDCs are digital versions of the dollar, yuan, euros, yen, or any other currency. They are coming, say those who study them, and depending on how they are designed and rolled out, their impact on the banking system could be profound. There's a country in the world who's implementing this, and they're tracking everything their people are doing, everything their people are saying, everything their people are buying, where they are going, what they're doing, etc., 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 etc. Bitcoin's freedom. It's anonymous, but it is public. There are truly anonymous things. Bitcoin equals freedom for humanity because blockchain technology that's appropriately implemented means freedom for humanity. I've said it for years. I'm going to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Mortgage rates are down, it looks like, a little bit. I don't know if they really are or not. Gold is down. Silver is down. Divvy is taking a little bit of a breath after its run, which is really not a bad thing. Matic's kind of doing the same thing, you know. Let's see, what's another one? Shiba's been in the news recently, which has also been interesting. There it is. Axie's also taking a wee bit of a breath. It popped over $10. It's pretty interesting as well. Look, there are things coming down the pipe. I'm ready for, but no one actually knows if they're ready for or not. I really hope y'all are. I really hope you're trying to get ready. Because Lord knows it's going to get really, 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 really bad. I hate it. Because none of us chose this. None of us asked for this. And yet we're being told that all this stuff's coming down the pipe. And what do you do about it, right? You know, you got all the crap going on with the freaking stoves. I'm going to talk about that later today. The stupid gas stoves, man. What the crap? You know what I mean? It is. I'm going to give y'all some thoughts on that later this afternoon, I think. Because there's so many things happening that are tied to that it's sick. Anyways, let's run through and say hey to everybody. So we have some fun conversation happening here. Good afternoon, Gloria. How are you doing today? It's great to see you, and thanks for being here today. Lithia, how are you today? Thanks for being part of the show. We got Crypto Professor. What's up, brother? It's good to see you. Appreciate you doing, and I am doing well. I'm doing well. It's good to see you, man. Mr. UI Fang, what's up, brother? Thanks for being part of the show. It is always awesome to see you. Bitcoin Trinity, man. What's up, dude? It's good to see you, man. Samstorm's in the house. What's up, man? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Hopefully you're doing really well. Really miss seeing you guys around. Really, really cool stuff going on in the world for sure. Let's see who else is in here. I started having a great conversation. I love it. Let's see. Cool. All right. Well, listen. If you're watching this, catching it later, pop in the chat, or not the chat, the comments below the video. Check out all the links in the video description. I do have a Patreon, which should be doing this afternoon. Should be around 4:30 Eastern. And we will have a show. Talk through a bunch of stuff. That's where I get to take the gloves off, have a conversation with y'all. And those of you who are in there supporting me, thank you. It does mean a lot to me. I know not everybody can. And those of you who are, it's great that you're there. It basically gets me my coffee every day, which is fantastic, and I really appreciate y'all. Anyways, y'all have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed rest of the day, and we'll see you this afternoon. And y'all take it easy. Bye.